the first roller skate was invented by somebody who wanted to ice skate in the summer. So as the wheel design, skate material, lacing to buckles, and how skating is used overall has changed throughout the years. There have been many evolutional changes. So I have been researching this for weeks, and I have been roller skating since I was able to at 5. I used to have like the little skate boots, and which were made out of plastic because that's what we currently use for little kids' skates. So it started from going from the 2-wheeled inline skate to the 4-wheeled quad design. So the 2-wheeled inline design is when a skate wheel is in front and then behind, and then the 4 ones are 2 parallel ones next to each other. So as skates have evolved, they became lighter, and it went from being only able to be in a straight line to a curved line. So as we have moved from the 17,000s to the present day, many innovations such as braking and the ball bearings have been used to aid in our experience. So in the 1700s, the first designs were introduced for roller skating. The very first guy who took the idea of skating in the summer, he attached a piece of wood to the bottom of ice skates rather than a blade, and was using that for summer skating. It didn't really work well, and it only went straight, but he called them skeelers. So according to Skate World, in his incredible history of roller skating, the very first roller skates were used in a London stage performance in 1743. So many of the times whenever people in theater wanted to show that, or go from one side of the stage to the other, or show ice skating, they would use these skates to just kind of push them across the stage. But it only went forward and backwards, so that was one of the problems. The first one that had a wheel design was created by Joseph Merlin in 1760. This was an inline design because the wheels were in front and behind of each other, and there were no brakes. So he wanted to show off his new design at a masquerade ball. So he attached the wheels to the bottom of a metal boots, and rolled into this masquerade ball while playing the violin. And he crashed into a giant, 4-length mirror. And I mean, he got his attention, so that was he crashed. He crashed. So in the 1800s, skating began to be used to entertain rather than just be used in theater performances. And there was also the introduction of ball bearings and the quad skate. So they were used in ballets and theater, like I said, but then the design started changing with materials. So the article from Party Crashers to Derby Jammers, Roller Skates Through the Years discusses the invention of the first skate with a wooden sole and the 4 rollers of copper, wood, or ivory arranged in a straight line that was created by Monsieur Hedleden in 1819. So he did anywhere between 2 and 4 wheels in a line, but the skate is still only able to go forward and backward, unfortunately. In 1832, a man named Robert John Tylers tried it with 5 wheels, and he called it the Rolito, but that still was not able to curve, and people needed it to be able to curve to be able to be used for more recreational use. So the skates were able to be used in Berlin bars in the 1840s, and in 1857, the first roller skating rinks were opened, but the problem was it still could not curve. In 1863, James Plimpton did 2 parallel sets of wheels with rubber springs, and according to the history and evolution of roller skating, Plimpton was able to create the rocking action skate, which had a rubber cushion between the wooden plate and the axles of the skate, which allowed the skater to truck and rock when the skater shifted their weight to the inside or outside of the foot, and that allowed them to turn. So now that you could turn, they were starting to be used for more recreational use, which increased the popularity of the public skating rinks. The pinball bearings were included in skating wheels which added less friction, which made skating easier to do. With the introduction of lighter skates and when pin ball bearings, people were able to skate easier, and it made skating more popular. So in the 1900s, there were even more technological advancements which made things more light, efficient, and popular. So in 1908, the cup and cone device increased the use of ball bearings by having, so it was a sealed casing, which rather than the bearings being rolled together randomly, they were rolled in a line, which allowed it to actually spin. So more skating rinks opened in the early 1900s, now that there were all of these technological advancements, and they were used, skates were used for sport, recreation, dancing, and competitions. In the 1960s, plastic was invented that made the skate boots plastic instead of metal. The disco eras of the 70s and 80s and the influence of movies increased the popularity because people were more exposed to the skates. The Olsen brothers found a pair of antique inline skates, and with the creation of polyurethane wheels, created an inline skate that can curve. Because now that the wheels were more narrow while it was on an inline design, it was able to make the curves because you could tilt your ankle. There was also the invention of rubber-toed brakes. That was not until the 1900s. So brakes were added, which prevented things like the masquerade ball events, because we don't want that to happen again. And then Rollerblade Inc. was created in 1983 to 1989, but there were problems adjusting, so new people came in and became owners, and they did fiberglass frames, wheel protection, adjustable brakes, etc. And in 1992, Rollerblade Inc. created active brake technology, which improved the skates to have a fiberglass post attached at one end to the top of the boot and at the other end to a rubber brake, which hinged the chassis of the back wheel, as stated in the history of roller skates. So you wouldn't have roller skating if it was not for the curiosity of Joseph Moreland, James Plimpton, and the Olsen brothers. New plastics created a lighter design, which was more enjoyment, and now it is the enjoyable recreational activity it is today.